So, is it the time now, finally, to buy PayPal or not? Let's figure that out. So first off, read this disclaimer carefully. And do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. So we are going to a megatrend called democratizing finance. 33% from the 52-week low, minus 56% away from the highs. As you are probably very aware, there's been a total massacre in the megatrends. They are still beating the S&P 500 from the lows, but the average theme is down minus 49%, so deep into bear market territory. The thing is, the best bullish moves will come in the megatrends. They will not come in the major indexes. They will not come in some dividend stock, like deep dividend stock. They will come in some of those who were high flyers before. It is just the way the market works. The thing is that PayPal, it's been eviscerated. So it's a payment platform, 2% from the 52-week low, minus 67% pullback if we round it up. Or we could say it's down 66.6%. Here is the company's website, PayPal. With us, you can shop, pay, and donate money. So yeah, PayPal, it had massive growth because it made it so much easier for people to get into e-commerce. What's been a bit of a problem for PayPal is that it's very easy to get into e-commerce at this point. Hence, you don't have to use PayPal anymore. So I think that's one of the issues, is that they really were innovative back in the day and really nailed that part that they did, but then someone else took the torch and innovated in other domains. So they have sort of been a bit left behind in certain aspects, but it's fully possible for them to come back, especially when you have been massacred like this. So you could look at this chart, right? And then you ask yourself, well, isn't even contemplating a bullish trade here for PayPal like catching a falling knife? There's a very big difference between catching a falling knife and trying to catch a knife that is bouncing off a floor. That's the thing. So the reason why this one popped up on my radar is that there are some potential signs that this knife is actually going to bounce off the floor. So you might be able to pick it up and point it towards the bears. Massive sell-off. It is interesting though that even though there's talk about World War III and stuff like that, PayPal is not crashing today. Here are the daily data points. PayPal is having an up day in the potential beginning of Armageddon. So that's a bit interesting. That is what is called, bullish divergence, a sign that maybe the low now is in. I mean, when a bad day like this, PayPal is actually having a bit of a rally. That is an interesting sign that, the bears, all the bears have everyone has gone bearish basically. And when everyone turns bearish, that is when, the low is in. If you look here at the other technicals, we are down across the board, extreme oversold. 14.6 RSI. That is extreme. Daily data points. Records. We have never seen a MACD like this. Accumulation distribution completely crashed. It's down to a prior level. What I find interesting here is the RSI on the daily data points. The previous time we had this RSI, let's zoom in a bit here. That is here, okay? So this temporary low, and that did lead to a rally. So I'm not saying, and this led to a 10% rally. And let's look at the previous low. That was here. The same RSI was back here as well. So let's measure that rally like that. Yeah, 7%. So I'm not by any stretch of the imagination making the call that the low is in for PayPal. That would be cool, of course, if that comes from this the point of this video. But from a bit more simpler standpoint, maybe we just are going to get a bounce. We have had bounces from this exact RSI level 2 times in the past. They were nice trades in a primary downtrend. This one is looking interesting. There's no point really even in looking at the PPOs, because we are just extremely oversold. I mean, there's just pessimism, extraordinary pessimism. I do see some kind of time cycles here. The question is whether they are reliable or not. So we do have these time cycles, but the downtrend has been so substantial that it's far beyond what one would project based on the time cycles. So I think the line in the sand for this bullish thesis would be RSI support on the daily data points. That is like the key part of the thesis. Looking here at the technicals, okay. So we are extremely oversold, and we are at an RSI level that has triggered bounces in the past. So I will give this one to the bulls, but very modestly. So let me give the bulls, let's give them a 2. They have a lot to prove, but it's something. So the next item on the list is to look at the seasonality for PayPal. So here to the right, we have the Seasonality Forecaster. We have data average for the last 5 years, and it does show that overall the seasonality is decent here for PayPal, so that's interesting. We do see that it's very like up and down though. So when we look here to the left and we look at because these are very different ways. Here we have just the average data, and here we see the percentage of times it closes higher and the average for the month. So it's a very different way to look at the same data. In this case, over the last 5 years, February and March are weak. April is very strong. May and June are also strong. Like that. You see here that seasonally December and January tend to be strong. We have definitively not seen those months helping PayPal this time around. February and March are weak. So the seasonality analysis here is a bit tricky, because there usually is strength for PayPal, in the months that we just showed. We obviously have not seen any December or January strength for PayPal, but we usually have it. So it begs the question, could it be that the extreme pessimism around PayPal sort of pushed the bullish seasonality such that we maybe get it in February or March this year? We did see that the seasonality is looking better for April. So due to the extreme pessimism that we have seen in the stock where everyone is selling, there's a very, very real possibility that the seasonality has been disturbed quite severely. So I will give this one very slightly to the bulls, but this is very slight. So let's give it 1 point to the bulls of a possible maximum of 9. But I have a slight bullish here, because I have seen this before where seasonality actually can shift in extreme situations, and what we have seen with PayPal is definitively fit the criteria for very extreme. Next on the list is the fundamentals. I have a bit of a digression here. The fall from the 52-week high is 66.6%. So basically 666, a very infamous number. The date today is also very special. It is 10 today. We will have 22. This is what I am referring to. So today is a palindrome date. So 2, 22, 22. The low of the S&P 500 during, the big bear market, the global financial crisis, was 666. Okay, so obviously this is a bit of a side note, a digression, but it's interesting, the financial markets, it's very quantitative, it's all about numbers, watching numbers. So if there was a market where something seemingly gimmicky, like PayPal being 66.6% from the 52-week high, that will symbolically mark the low for PayPal, well, it would be in the financial market that something like that actually would happen. On a day, a palindrome day, that is also special, but it's something to, I think that stuff like that is a bit goofy, to be clear, but something to just think of. It's an interesting curiosity. So, back to the fundamental analysis. Sachs, they have a strong sell for PayPal. D value, C growth, A momentum. Industry rank, bottom 32%, they call it internet software. I do not agree at all with the industry categorization. That makes no sense. No dividend, market cap is 121 billion US dollars. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so when we look here at, the insiders, what are they doing? Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. So, it's a bit mixed, but, we do have some insider bullish activity. So it's not like roaringly bullish, but at least they are buying. That's good. Let's look here at, the consensus estimates. So what are the price targets? So you have a whopping 47 analysts covering the stock. The average price target is 76% above the current stock price. Highest is 136% above. And spread lowest target is 6% above. The lowest target, to be perfectly clear, is 6% above the current stock price. So the analysts are definitively bullish. Back to magical numbers, if you are into that, we do have 6, 6, 6. Okay, just interesting, just a curiosity. Okay, so what kind of rating should we then give here for the fundamentals? The analyst price targets were definitively bullish, obviously it was very bullish. Sachs was not, however, feeling that much love for it. So this one is definitively a bit mixed. I will very modestly, I think, give this one to the bulls. I don't think I can actually go above 2 here, simply because Sachs has a lot of influence on the market, also on institutions, and they are the ones who move the biggest sums, and so the biggest money that is pushed in and out of securities is actually based on fundamentals. Okay, the next on the list here is to look at the relative performance. So here are some statistical correlations. So we have 76 with the S&P 500 long term, 79 with XLK, which is the technology ETF, 55 with the financial services ETF, XLF, and then we have 89% with IP, and that is the mobile payments ETF. Then we have daily data points here, minus 38% with the SPY, minus 47% XLK, and then minus 62 with XLF, and then 91% positive with iPay. So it's pretty clear that the strongest correlation is with the iPay ETF. Yeah, so let's do a quick technical analysis of that one. iPay like this. I see mobile payments, and now we are looking at the index. Though you do have this ETF iPay from ETF MG Prime Mob. Okay, so here we have the chart. This one, it does seem to like some time cycles, but the duration of the time cycles differ. But it is clearly a security that moves like this. It goes up and down, up and down. That is the behavior of it. It has currently retraced a very substantial amount of the breakout move. But yeah, we have lost support from the blue 100-week moving average. That is a bit of an issue. It is especially an issue because that was clear support back here. It really accelerated the rally when we got above it back there. So it is a moving average with legitimacy. As such, this is a bit bearish. Not like extremely bearish, but not, yeah. Because we also have here this clear rounding top pattern as well. So here I am looking at PayPal against the iPay, the mobile payments index. Obviously, PayPal has been dramatically underperforming that index by a lot. But when we zoom in, we do see that this week there's something tepidly bullish happening with PayPal, but very, very mild. Okay. Let's go to the daily data points and quickly look at the seasonality here. So PayPal has a tendency to outperform the index heading towards the 7th of March, then pull back a bit. So yeah, I think you can see the seasonality yourself. Yeah, just something to bear in mind. Then we will look at PayPal against well, actually, let's actually look at the index against the SPY, the S&P 500. You could argue that we have recently seen a rally up to a potential resistance zone. So the current price has resistance back here. Here you can see, and here there's a cluster of resistance here. So that could be an issue. If we go here to, let's get the daily data points, if that's possible. So let's get the dailies. Yeah, we do have something a bit rounding-ish happening here, but it's not clean. We have also rallied up to a level where we could get a breakout. Breakout from these levels, that would be bullish. So let's see whether the seasonality would increase the probability of that happening. So the seasonality here for this pair is actually rather bullish. Bullish leading all the way up here to the 10th of June. And before we get, a bit of a pullback. So yeah, mobile payments tends to outperform the S&P 500 going forward. That increases the probability here of a technical breakout in this pair. Given the very strong statistical correlation between PayPal and this index, that is very likely to be bullish for PayPal. At least it will not hurt. So in terms of relative performance, so PayPal has obviously been monstrously underperforming. It's the index where we had the strongest correlation. That's clear. There's something mildly bullish happening at this point. But this again, given the extreme pessimism and how difficult it has been to find any kind of low for PayPal, I must subtract a lot of the bullish points because they're sort of like guilty until proven innocent. But in the name of the palindrome, I will give this one a 2. So the average score here is 1.8. So I'm feeling slightly more bullish than bearish when it comes to PayPal. Whatever you do, of course, you want to use stops.